In reply, I call the Honourable Member Asanati Lole-Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to acknowledge the contribution by various honourable members today or tonight. I am reminded of H. Jackson Brown Jr.'s words. Live so that when your children think of fairness, caring and integrity, they think of you. They think of you. During the development of this bill, Mr. Speaker, the memories of my dear eldest nephew reminded me of the difficulties he faced in his first 17 years. And if you're listening now, Ioane, just want you to know that I do love you, and your experience has also encouraged me to ensure that this bill does come to the House. I am encouraged by the contribution and support shown by various members in the House tonight. I also want to acknowledge the comments by David Clinton here with regards to the prison, and also the fact that this week is celebrating the Pillars contribution to the fathers and children in prisons. And Ian McKelvey was also mentioning the visits he has made to some of the prisons. I can assure you that I have spent 6 years in the prison environment. I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, that I have spent 6 years in the Department of Corrections and looking after or catering the top part of the northern region in this area. And rehabilitation and reintegration is something that's very dear to me. And during that time, I've come across a lot of different generations from the same families. And they happen to be the families who come from the same kind of problems. If it is not domestic violence, it is abuse, rape, or, of course, drug dealings. This bill takes a clear stance that it is not okay for children to witness and be innocent bystanders to crime. We need to send a clear message that we will no longer sit back and ignore children who are innocently caught up in high-level criminal offending and ongoing crime that leaves them in a path of harm. Children are too often the innocent parties to criminal offending by adults, and I acknowledge the comments that were raised by Jacinda Ardern tonight about the judges, that often they don't take it into account, or often they do take it into account, and that they should. I suppose the response I can give to that is that judges often forget the children were involved by the time the sentencing does happen, and by then they often just give a sentence or a lenient sentence based on the act of criminal, forgetting that there were children. In addition to that, the mental and the psychological effect that does have on our children in those situations. So I do hope that the Select Committee, though, will give it some serious consideration in order to incorporate those comments that were raised by Jacinda Ardern. And I sincerely hope that Andrew Little's concerns will also be addressed in any of the loopholes that he considered to be missing from this bill. Where offending endangers minors, Mr. Speaker, or exposes them to potentially adverse effects, the sentence imposed should reflect that. Criminals should have no right to endanger innocent children, and the people of New Zealand expect us to fix this problem. So our children are the future of this nation, and if the individuals around them are not taking responsibility to protect them from harm and a cycle of abuse, plus initiating them into a life of crime, then surely it is time they are held accountable for their actions. Punishment is not for revenge, but to lessen crime and reform the criminal. Decision in this House should be made based on what is in the best interest of our nation and our people, not individuals' needs or personal agenda, but in the interest of our nation. Mr. Speaker, I duly commend this bill to the House. Thank you.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will please say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Sentencing Protection of Children from Criminal Offending Amendment Bill, first reading.
The question is that the Sentencing Protection of Children from Criminal Offending Amendment Bill be considered by the Law and Order Committee. Those of that opinion will please say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Right, honourable members, we have now completed that. Therefore, we will go on to a Members' Order of the Day, and this time it is Members' Order of the Day number 4.
Social Security, Clothing Allowances for Orphans and Unsupported Children Amendment Bill, first reading.
Another one for New Zealand First. I call the honourable member Tracy Martin.
Kia ora,
Lucky girl.
Kia ora, Mr. Speaker.